In this video, we are going to talk about parliamentary system of government. Parliamentary system of government, its functions have been given in article number 74 and 75 at central level and in article number 162 and 163 at state level. I would make a separate video on these articles. So in this video, we are going to talk about three topics that are parliamentary system of government, its functioning, the merits and demerits of parliamentary form of government, and differentiating between parliamentary and presidential form of government. The question has been asked from this topic are differentiating between parliamentary and presidential form of government and your opinion about changing to a presidential form of government as a solution of better governance. Then the next question was asked was the what is the concept of prime minister government and what are the reason of its declining in that time when it was asked in India, and bring out the aberration of the parliamentary system of government, that lack of functioning or deviating from its norms, that as parliamentary system functions as a in a ideal way. So what are the features of parliamentary form of government? There are six main features of the parliamentary form of government, that are rule of majority, dual executive, lower house can be dissolved, there is a collective responsibility, there is a provision of secrecy, and there is also a provision of double membership. So have a look at some details. Rule of majority. The political party which secures majority seats in the Lok Sabha forms the government. Okay, so the leader of the party appointed as the prime minister and appointed by the prime minister. It means that the oath of the minister and oath of the secrecy is administered by the president, and all the other ministers of the ruling party are appointed by as a minister by president and on the advice of prime minister. And when no single party gets majority, the president can invite two parties to make a coalition to form a government. The second one is the dual executive. The president is the nominal executive and the prime minister is the real executive. De jure means the titular or by law, and de facto is the real or functioning, okay, whether it is described in the law or not. So the president is the head of state while the prime minister is the head of government, and article number 75 provides a council of minister headed by prime minister to aid and advise the president in the exercise of his function, and this advice is so tendered is binding on the president. Okay, the advice given by prime minister and his ministers is binding on the president. Okay, so the next topic is dissolution of the lower house. Okay, the lower house of the parliament can be dissolved by the president on the recommendation of the prime minister. Okay, the president can dissolve the lower house of the parliament on the recommendation of the prime minister, and this is before the expiry of his term, and fresh election can be held then. Collective responsibility. Collective responsibility is a bedrock principle of the parliamentary form of government. The ministers are collectively responsible to the parliament in general. Okay, and this has been described in article number 75, which says that they act as a team, they swim and sink together. Okay, and article number 75 section 3 says the council of ministers shall be collectively responsible to the house of the people. House of the people means the Lok Sabha or the lower house. Okay, oath of secrecy. Secrecy is the secrecy is a oath. There is a oath of secrecy. Article number 75 section 4 provides that before a minister enters upon his office, the president shall administer to him the oath of secrecy according to the forms out for the purpose in the third schedule. Okay, according the form, a form has been given in the third schedule of the constitution, according to which the minister takes the oath that president administered. Okay, and the president and the minister operates on the principle of secrecy of procedure and cannot divulge information about their proceeding, policies and decisions. Okay, The double membership. Double membership. The ministers are the member of both legislative and executive, and this means that a person cannot be a minister without being a member of parliament, as article number 75 section 5 says. A minister who for any period of 6 consecutive months is not a member of either house of parliament shall at the expiration of that period cease to be a minister. So let's move on the merits of the parliamentary form of government. There are so many merits. Namely, here I am talking about 8 merits of this type of government. There is a harmony between legislative and executive, and also a ready alternative government is present there. This kind of government is a responsible government. It is conducive to the nation integration. It is here the white representation is present, and flexible government. This kind of government is flexible. It also spread educational value, and it prevents despotism. Harmony between legislature and executive. The greatest advantage of the parliamentary system of government is that it ensures the harmonious relationship and cooperation between the legislative and executive organ of the government. This is because there is a harmony and cooperation between two organs. As the minister belong to the ruling party of the legislature, they do not face much difficulty in getting support and approval of the legislature for the policies and program. Okay, so there is a less confrontation between the executive and legislative. Responsible government. By its very nature, the parliamentary system establishes a responsible government, because the ministers are responsible to the Lok Sabha, okay, to the parliament, for all their acts of omission and commission. So that is why they try to remain clean, and opposition acts as a watchdog for the government. It can expose the corrupt and inefficient acts of government. So there is a wide representation. In a parliamentary system, the executive consists of a group of individuals that are called council of ministers. They are from various small constituency of the country. So here, hence, it is possible to provide a wide representation. Ready alternative government. In case of ruling party lose majority, the president can invite the opposition to form the government without holding fresh election, as after the major party, the second major party acts as the opposition party in the parliament. Flexible. There is a lot of flexibility in the parliamentary system of government to cope with the changing situation and even emergencies. This is because the prime minister can change cabinet. The prime minister can change his cabinet. The parties act as a uniting agent for different sections of the country. Educational value. The policies and programs of the government, as well as various problems of the people, are discussed on the floor of legislature through speeches and questions and answers. In this way, the people can easily understand what is happening in the government, and it helps them to realizing that how our government functions, and it helps the people's it helps in increasing people's political conscience and molding the public opinion. Thus, the parliamentary form of government has great value from the point of view of people's political education. It prevents despotism. As executive authority is vested in a group of individual, the council of minister, hence there is a less opportunity for the dictatorial tendency of the executive. Executive is responsible to the parliament, so it cannot do any act that harms the political system. Now, coming to the demerits of the parliamentary form of government, there is a possibility of unstable government. Dictatorship can be also seen in this kind of government. No continuity of policies, against the separation of power, and government by amateurs. Sorry. Unstable government. There is no guarantee that government can survive till its tenure. The ministers depends on the mercy of the majority legislature for their continuity. The government headed by Morarji Desai, Charan Singh, VP Singh, and I.K. Gujral are some examples of the unstable government. No continuity of policies. It is not conducive for the formulation of long-term policies. A change in the ruling party is usually followed by a change in policies of the government. The Janata Party in 1977 and Congress government in 1980 are the best example for this phenomena. Dictatorship of the cabinet. When there is an absolute majority in a parliament, the cabinet becomes autocratic and exercise nearly unlimited power. It This was seen in the Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi regime. And against the separation of power, whereas the presidential form of government is totally depend on that separation of power, the parliamentary type of government is based on the fusion of power. The legislature and the executive are together and inseparable in the parliamentary system government. So the cabinet acts as the leader of the legislature as well as the executive organ of the government. And the last one is the amateur people that administer the country. There is not so much administrative efficiency as the ministers are not expert in their respective fields, and the prime minister has limited choice because he is restricted to choose the members from parliament only. He cannot invite the external talent to form his government. So now moving to the what is presidential form of government, have a very short introduction to presidential form of government. There are 6 points: single executive, elections, kitchen cabinet, non-responsible, no dissolution of the lower house, and separation of power. So let's understand them. Single executive. While India has two kind of, the parliamentary system of government has two heads, the presidential form of government has only one head, that is American president. Okay, the American constitution provides a presidential form of government. So here we are taking the example of American government. So the American president is both the head of government and head of the state, and he leads the executive organ of the government. He has nothing to do with the legislative organ of the government. The election of the president are held in 4 year by electoral college. Kitchen cabinet. There is a small cabinet of some member to assist president, and it is an advisory body, and it is made up of non-elected departmental secretaries, and the members are appointed by president and are responsible to him, not for any house, not to any house. Non-responsible government. The president and his cabinet is not responsible to the lower house. In America it is Congress, sorry, House of Representative, and also they are not a member of either house of the Congress. Whether in India the president and the prime minister and his cabinet is member of lower house of the parliament. No dissolution of the lower house. The president cannot dissolve the lower house of the Congress, i.e. the House of Representative. Separation of power. It is the very basic feature of the presidential system of government, and it means that three organs of the government are free to work independently. So here are some questions I think you can answer now. So have a look. Indian parliamentary system is different from British parliamentary of system in that India has, this question can be found in page number 12.7 of Lakshmikant, the Indian polity written by Lakshmikant, and this question has been asked in CSET 1998. The right option is the system of judicial review. Here is the assertion reasoning that has been asked in CSET 2007. Assertion is the Council of Ministers in Union of India is collectively responsible to both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. We have seen in previous slide that the Council of Ministers in parliamentary form of government is only responsible to Lok Sabha, not to Rajya Sabha. Okay, and the member of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are eligible to be member of the union of the government. Okay, so the A statement is false and B statement is true. In the context of India, which of the following principles are implied institutionally in the parliamentary system of government? In the context of India, okay, the member of the cabinet are the members of parliament. Ministers holds the office till they enjoy the confidence in parliament, and cabinet is headed by the head of the state. All the both 1 and 2 are right, but cabinet is headed by the head of the government, not head of the state. So in this way, the A1, the option A is right. The last question is that has been asked in CSET 2015. There is a parliamentary system of government in India because Lok Sabha is elected directly by people. Parliament can amend the constitution. Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha. The right answer is the Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any suggestions, please comment down below.